All right, for today's video review, we're going to be taking a look at Masters of the Universe Origins Roboto. Yeah, this guy is a really cool figure. Definitely one of my favorite Origins figures, which, if you don't know, the Origins line of Masters of the Universe figures is basically just like updated, more articulate versions of the original toys. So definitely some changes and liberties taken, but pretty faithful to the original toy line. And here we have Roboto, one of the ones with one of the coolest gimmicks, I think, at least of the ones that we've seen so far, where if you turn his waist here, you can see the little gears in his chest turning, and it makes his mouth kind of go merp, 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 merp. Very cool. And it's super cool that they were able to do that and then still give him, the same amount of articulation as other Origins figures. Well, I mean, not exactly, because I guess his head is on a swivel, whereas most of them are on ball joints, and you can't take his head off to do the mix and match parts like you can with most of the other Origins figures. You can, however, still take his arms off, so that's cool that they were able to keep that feature. He's got some nice sculpted detail on his arms here. It's kind of funny having a robot who's got a bunch of techie detail, but it's like over like musculature like the rest of them. It's just kind of strange, but that's part of the whole charm of it. I love the whole clear chest feature with the gears and the being able to like see the mechanisms at work. Very cool. The original Roboto had like a heart or something in there, showing that like, oh, he was a robot with the soul or whatever. And this one doesn't have any indication of that, which is, yeah, I don't know. Would have been cool to see it, but not too big a deal. In terms of articulation, he's about the exact same as most other Origins figures. Again, his head is just on a swivel rather than on a ball joint. His arms are on that same joint there that you can rotate around like that and rotate out to the side. He's got a bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow, although on mine, this elbow seems like really stuck. I might be able to pop it with like a hairdryer or something, but like, I don't know. I mostly just keep him in a static pose, so it's not too big a deal, but that's probably just a QC issue on mine rather than a running thing. But yeah, this elbow definitely does not bend, even though it's supposed to. The swivel still works, and he's still got a wrist swivel and then a hinge there at the hand as well. His waist obviously can turn, and it's tied to that mechanism. Same sort of ball joint setup at the hips here, although just because of the shape of his waist piece, he can't really move his legs that far forward or really that far back, but out to the side, fine. He's got that thigh swivel just below the knee. Kind of a less than 90-degree knee bend there. That's okay. He's got this boot cut here, which it definitely breaks up the sculpt a little bit. Like, he's got these like little orb things kind of as part of his shin detail that get misaligned if you rotate it, and then this part here is clearly supposed to line up like that. So that's kind of like a weird sort of toyetic trope that I'm not as huge a fan of, where the sculpt is kind of broken by the articulation. And then his feet, they do have the same sort of rotation and tilt as the other feet do of the Origins line, and can still tilt back and forth. But just because of the shape of his boot here, it kind of limits it a little bit. Like, you can still get some slight, tilting, but it doesn't have quite the range that most of the other figures do. But still, overall, pretty standard articulation. And then obviously he can open and close his jaw. Although it's kind of weird, like, this is his visor, right? This isn't his visor. I don't, because it could, when he opens his mouth, it kind of makes it look like that's the eyes. But when his mouth is closed, it makes it look like this blue line is the eyes. I'm pretty sure that's because otherwise he could only see once he opens his mouth, which would be weird. But, it's a good effect either way. The other gimmick that this guy has is he comes with a couple of different options for his one arm there. He comes with a claw, an axe, and this gun here. Very cool. So you can plug in the little claw there if you want him to have more like two hands. Rotate it either way, whichever you think looks best. Obviously, he can have for his melee weapon this axe. Pretty cool. And the gun. I think the gun arm is my favorite of the three. The claw is also nice, but it's a little bit small, so like, I don't know. I just think the gun arm looks a little bit more impressive. And if you have Trapjaw from the Origins line, they actually can mix and match their accessories here. So you can plug it in like that, although the peg for Trapjaw's weapon is a little bit longer, so it kind of sticks off the arm layer a little bit, but makes no difference when you plug that onto Trapjaw's arm, obviously. And unlike Trapjaw, like Trapjaw had this like belt that had the system for holding his extra weapons. Roboto, unfortunately, doesn't have anything like that. You pretty much just have to put them off to the side, which, you know, it's fine. It keeps a cleaner silhouette, but you know, definitely is not as fun as Trapjaw, where he's just got his weapons at the ready there. But whatever. In terms of comparisons, you saw him there with Trapjaw. Here he is with Origins, He-Man, and Skeletor. Here he is with Masterverse, He-Man, and Skeletor. And then just for some other standard size comparisons, here he is with a pop vinyl and a deluxe transformer. So yeah, pretty, you know, he's got a fun gimmick with the clear plastic chest there, but other than that and the extra accessories here, he's a pretty standard Origins figure. Just definitely stands out on the shelf because he's got nice colors. He's got this whole robot-y theme with this sort of toyetic aesthetic of being able to like see the gears. So overall, aesthetically, I just really like him. Kind of sucks that the elbow is a little bit gummed up on mine, but I'm sure it's fixable if I really put some effort into it. But either way, you know, pretty fun Origins figure. Definitely one of my favorites, just because of his aesthetic alone, and a pretty fun gimmick as well. You know, it's not obtrusive and it's kind of subtle, but it is kind of a fun mechanism to play around with. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to say about the guy. If you enjoy my videos, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. I do reviews every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And without further ado, here we have Masters of the Universe Origins, Roboto.